candidate up here who's not a billionaire. I don't have a super PAC. I don't even have a backpack. I carry my stuff around loose in my arms like a professor.
I think we'll use Larry on our next rally. He does better than I do.
Bernie Sanders reacting to the NBC Saturday Night Live skit featuring Larry David as the Vermont senator. Presidential candidate telling ABC News that Larry David might just have to take his place on the campaign trail. All kidding aside, a new CNN ORC poll shows that Hillary Clinton remains on top, but Bernie Sanders has jumped 5 points from 24 to 29% in that national survey. Let's talk some about this and other topics. First, we welcome in a new guest, the editor-in-chief of the conservative website Opportunity Lives, John Hart, who Skypes in from Arlington, Virginia. We should note that John also served as a senior aide to former Senator Tom Coburn. Also joining us and Skyping in from the District of Columbia, a host of The Agenda on Sirius XM Radio, the Progress channel there, Ari Rabin-Havt. Ari, of course, the former aide to Senator Harry Reid. So, the Bernie watch, he's picking up ground. Will he continue to see his popularity go up? First to you, John Hart.
Well, I think there's a good chance he will, JD. You know, the biggest poll of the cycle has been from a group called YouGov. Came out a few months ago, and it found that among millennial voters who are Democrats, socialism is as popular as capitalism. So in other words, 43% of young Democrat millennials favor socialism, 43% favor capitalism. So there's a big shift to the left within the Democratic Party, and Bernie Sanders is appealing to that, and I think we'll see his popularity increase. And the fact is he has a set of ideas. You know, Hillary Clinton is seen as a calculating politician. Bernie Sanders is the true believer. And he's going to continue to attract a large following because of his devotion to his ideas.
So you say Bernie is going to increase in popularity. Ari, I have to greet you by quoting what you told me a couple of weeks ago. You said Joe Biden was going to stay out of this thing. But our parent website, Newsmax.com, here's the headline from earlier this afternoon. Report, Biden will jump into the 2016 race. So Joe's going to go, according to what we're hearing. Are you surprised?
I will believe it when I see it. You know, there have been rumors about that floating everywhere. There have been multiple rumors in multiple places. And look, I can be wrong, obviously. I've been wrong before. I think I don't understand why Joe Biden would jump in this week. This seems to be like the week where there is the least amount of calling for him to run based on Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton's strong performance at the debate. It seems like an odd week for him to get in, but I guess time is running out. So if he's going to announce, he might as well announce this week.
Well, Ari, it's always good to hear an admission that you could be wrong. Now, a subject where, I'm sorry, no disrespect intended, I think you're wrong. It has to do with the Second Amendment. A gun control poll out from Gallup today, according to the numbers proffered by Gallup, 55% of Americans want stricter gun sale laws, 33% want gun laws to stay the same, 11% want less strict gun sale laws. Ari, do you really believe this is the case? More Americans want to see stricter gun control?
Yeah, I do believe it's the case. And I think when Americans see the tragedy of gun violence unfolding, they naturally want to do something about it. Now, you know, is it politically feasible at this moment? That's a different story than what this poll says. But there's been constant and high support for things like expanding background checks. All right, let's
turn.
I'm not surprised with this poll.
Let's turn to the new conservative on the block, John Hart, in his first appearance here. What about this Gallup poll saying 55% want stricter laws on gun sales?
Well, it really depends on what stricter means, JD. You know, historically, there's often a push for tighter gun laws after a tragedy like this, and that's understandable. But the support typically has not been sustained. But I do think that there is an appetite and a desire to see people who should not have guns to make sure that they don't get access to them, whether they're a criminal or whether they have some kind of documented mental disorder. And there are ways to do that without infringing on American Second Amendment rights. But historically, you know, back in 2013, Senator Coburn and Schumer worked on this issue together. And from our standpoint, it was Schumer who walked away. Coburn was willing to come up with some very modest ways to make sure that guns didn't get into the wrong hands. But Democrats wanted to keep the issue alive as a political issue.
Oh,
so
that's very interesting. A political issue as opposed to a public policy change.
Yes.
We'll have to have you guys back to discuss that in the days ahead. John Hart, thanks for your time. A successful debut. Ari Rabin-Havt, as always, we appreciate your time. Up next, Hillary in front of the Benghazi Committee later this week. Pete Hoekstra's take just ahead. You've probably heard about the shocking new book, Unlikable, The Problem with Hillary by Edward Klein. Unlikable has already skyrocketed to the top of the bestseller lists. It's probably the most powerful expose on Hillary ever written. The author, Edward Klein, wrote the #1 New York Times bestsellers, The Amateur and Blood Feud. Now in Unlikable, Klein offers a stunning, powerful expose of Hillary Clinton and her floundering race for the White House. With unprecedented access, Klein meticulously recreates conversations and details of Hillary Clinton's behind-the-scenes plotting. Klein also reveals the angry rivalry between Hillary and Barack Obama. Now, Unlikable retails for $29.95, but you can get it with our free offer. So, get this almost $30 value today. Just go online or call the toll-free number on your screen. With the 2016 election fast approaching, you need to get Unlikable and be armed with the truth about Hillary. Check out our incredible offer right now.